hiring people to do the job is helpful. But where I also get hung up is this like second tier of hiring. We were talking
So,
about this like leadership strategy is I can teach myself how to lead potentially, but then we also have somebody like an office manager.
mhm.
How do I guess, empower them to help me? Because now I've taken a step away. Like, I'm not even worried about the KPIs of my intake specialist.
Mhm.
I'm worried about the KPIs of my person who's worried about the KPIs of my intake specialist, you know?
Yeah. Ideally, you want to get to a place where you're hiring leaders across the board. So, not
Mhm.
leadership is just like the managers, but leaderships that are the leaders are in intake, leaders are in all parts of the firm. Because when I say leadership, I mean self leadership and autonomy, critical
Mm.
thinkers, like hiring people that own their responsibilities and that are accountable to themselves. Like this is how I operate. I take initiative, I get things done. And when you start to hire people like that, it's not based on title or level. It's based on we hire people, these are the KPIs. We hire people who have the ability to critically think, have the ability to problem solve, have the ability to figure things out, people who take initiative. So that becomes the way that we hire, right? Not just this is just the second level of leaders.
Mm.
We have to
Okay.
start thinking about the caliber of people that we are hiring. The other part of that is going from leader to coach in such a way before you go and solve the problem. Why don't you ask, Zach, why do you think this is happening? What do you think is possible? Right? You want to call people higher into ownership and critical thinking so you can develop a team of leaders and not just have people hanging on your every word or you have to jump in and do all the things. And you know what? That takes time. And because
Mhm.
so many people are time strapped, guess what? They just stick with this parasitic model that's just wearing them out.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And well, what that kinda makes me think of, and again, I'm a lawyer at heart, and I am stressed about people doing things wrong at heart. So when I pass these things off and I give people autonomy, how am I making sure that I'm balancing autonomy with kind of like my duty to make sure they're doing things correctly?
Let's just say if you've got a team of, let's just say 7, right?
Mhm.
If you're an attorney and you have an office manager, you have someone there who can own the other functions of the firm, just even from a KPI standpoint, even if they're not the person who's doing it, then your meetings are with this person primarily. They
Mhm.
are meeting with the rest of the team to ensure that those KPIs and that those other things are being done. So, of course, it's going to be different based on how people's firms are set up, but we
Yeah.
need to put leadership structures in place, not necessarily from a hierarchical standpoint. You see how I said that? Not necessarily from that standpoint, but just so that everybody owns what it is that they're doing so we can triage. If something is happening in marketing, somebody owns that function, even if they're
Mhm.
not solely responsible. If something is happening in intake, somebody owns like what our conversion rate is supposed to be. Like somebody owns that. And because
Mhm.
there's just this hodgepodge, all these, and nobody owns anything and nobody's accountable, there's not a lot of clear KPIs. It's just a shit show.